Good morning, County Council. I'd like to call to order this April 10th County Council agenda. And with that, please join us in the singing of O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, could you please conduct the roll call?
Thank you. Councillor Mackey, Councillor McKay, Councillor Carlton, Councillor Pringle, Councillor McQueen sends his regrets today, Councillor Allwood, Councillor Nielsen,
Present.
Councillor Patterson, Councillor Dickert, Councillor Kentner, Councillor Keaveney, Councillor Body, Councillor Gregg, Councillor Milne, Councillor Dobreen, Warden Matrosovs,
Present.
Councillor Bourdignon,
Present.
Councillor Eccles, Councillor Hutchinson.
Present.
We have all members in attendance today with the exception of Councillor McQueen.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let us begin together by respectfully acknowledging that we are gathering on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabeg Nation, the people known as the Three Fires, Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations. And further, we give thanks to the Chippewas of Saugeen and the Chippewas of Nawash, collectively known as the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, the traditional keepers of these lands and waters since time immemorial. To our south lies the traditional territories of the Six Nations of the Grand River. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and friendship with all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. At this point in time, I'd like to put out a call for any declarations of interest. Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed on to the adoption of the minutes. We have 4 items here. The first one is item 6A. It's recommended that the minutes of the County Council meeting and Committee of the Whole meeting dated March 27th, 2025, and the resolutions contained therein be adopted as presented. May I ask for a mover? Moved by Councillor Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Dickert. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? And that motion is carried. Item 6B, it's recommended that the closed session long-term care redevelopment task force and Committee of the Whole meeting minutes dated March 26th and March 27th, 2025, respectively, be adopted as provided. May I ask for a mover? Councillor Carlton and seconded by Councillor McKay. Any discussion? All those in favor? And that motion is carried. Item 6C, it is recommended that the special joint meeting minutes of dated March 21st, 2025 be adopted as presented. May I ask for a mover? Councillor Dobreen, seconded by Councillor McKeaveney. And all those in favor? And that is carried. Item 6D, it's recommended that the long-term care redevelopment task force minutes dated March 26, 2025 be adopted as presented and the following resolution contained therein be endorsed. That report CAORP 0225 be received, and that Gray County commit to providing an initial financial contribution to West Gray for an upset limit of $1.7 million, excluding HST, over the next 2 years to allow the project to proceed, and that based on the project tender results and updated cost sharing agreement between the municipality of West Gray and Gray County be prepared for the South Street East project and brought back for council's consideration. May I ask a mover and a seconder to get it on the floor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Patterson. It's now on the floor, and Deputy CAO, would you like to come and speak to this? Oh, sorry, Director Cornell is going to begin.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'll just provide a short summary of the beginning of the meeting, and then I'll pass it over to Randy. So the Andrew Rodriguez, the representative from our project management company Colliers, provided a project update, and some highlights from his update are as follows. Communications with the Ministry of Long-Term Care and Infrastructure Ontario are continuing. A report to Infrastructure Ontario providing an update on costs and schedules has been provided on our behalf. We are in the beginning stages of working through operational readiness, which sounds easy in one sentence, but is quite an undertaking. And so there was a little bit of an update about the planning for that. Some highlights and construction updates were provided, just noting that electrical and mechanical mock-ups have been planned. And the Rockwood team had a chance to do a walkthrough a couple of the mock-ups and provided some feedback through Colliers and having some conversations with Malua Blamey. It's a great opportunity for the team to see what a private room and a semi-private room would look like, the heights of the call bell, the position of the countertop in front of the in the washroom, that kind of thing. So it's been a great step towards making sure that everything is the way we want it to be. A short discussion about snow clearing, and I doubt any of you are surprised about that. So lots of efforts made in keeping the site clear and allowing the contractors to do their work. Financial forecasting was discussed, some discussion around the 8 change orders to date that total just over $52,000. Some other discussions around putting together a legal framework and the impacts of tariffs on again and off again, and what the steps are that we can take to be in the best position possible regarding tariffs. And there was a note also that a great deal of the steel and concrete to date have been sourced locally. So lots of good discussions on the progress of the project. I'll pass it over to Randy for the next portion.
Great. Thanks, Jen, and good morning, Council. So staff also provided an update to the task force on a project that's called South Street East, which includes some proposed storm sewer upgrades. So as discussed as part of what was called the Rockwood Early Works project, the stormwater design for the new Rockwood Terrace requires upgrades to the drains under South Street East to manage runoff from both the new site, the new Rockwood site, as well as the early works. The existing storm sewer, it's too small, it's too flat to handle the additional flow. So upgrades are needed to handle the increased flow and to prevent further flooding issues. There was a temporary drainage easement that was negotiated with the landowners to the south to handle temporary runoff from the new Rockwood site and early works until such time as the storm sewer upgrades are completed. As part of the Rockwood Early Works agreement between West Gray and Gray County, it was agreed that the cost for the downstream storm sewer upgrades would be shared. So design drawings and specifications have been completed by West Gray's consultant for this project. They've included some additional upgrades to the road, sidewalks, as well as replacing existing water main and sanitary sewers, as well as improving some existing storm sewer connections, So those would all be West Grey's costs. Costs associated with the replacement of the storm sewer have been identified as Grey County's share of the project costs. The project is proposed to be complete in 2 phases, and as you can see in the map on the screen, which is part of the report that was presented to the task force, the red line is the west portion. That's to be completed this year. The green line, which is east of Highway 6. Our monitor's just disappeared. The green line on the screen is what will be completed next year. And as you can see, the purple line, just to give some context, that's the area of the South Street East and Rock Street that was part of the early works project. That was also a project that was cost share between Grey County and West Grey in terms of some of those upgrades. As part of that early works, there was a storm sewer pipe that was put in place that will eventually connect to the pipe, the storm sewer that's going to be installed in the green and red portion of South Street East. So we anticipated that this was going to be a connection that was going to be required. And the rest of it is now the downstream upgrades that West Grey has tendered, has issued the tender, but has not been awarded yet. That tender is still not closed to date. The entire project will be completed by fall 2026, which aligns with the required timing for the new Rockwood Terrace project. The total estimated cost for the project over the next 2 years is estimated just over 3.8 million, excluding HST, with the county's estimated share being just under 1.7 million. The actual cost for the project, of course, won't be known until the tender's closed and is awarded to the successful contractor by West Grey. The Rockwood consultants have done a review of the design drawings and have confirmed that the proposed upgrades are the most cost-effective option for the storm sewer outlet that is required for the new site and the early works. There were some questions raised about the cost share breakdown and suggested that Grey County's share appears to be on the high side and could be reduced. So following receipt of tender results, staff will have further discussions with West Grey to reach an agreement on division of costs. West Grey staff and their engineering consultant have noted that the downstream upgrades along South Street East will require a good portion of the road to be removed and excavated. They've also noted that to get the right grade from a drainage perspective, the storm sewer needs to be replaced deeper than the existing storm drain. And this requires more material, more road to be excavated, and some existing infrastructure to be removed and replaced. The total cost share estimate for the county is just under 1.7, excluding HST, over the next 2 years. So to keep this project moving forward, the task force has recommended that Grey County provide an initial financial commitment of up to 1.7 million, excluding HST, over the next 2 years. And that's to be funded from the Rockwood Terrace redevelopment project budget. And there are sufficient funds in that overall Rockwood Terrace budget to cover these costs. As noted, final cost sharing will be determined after the tender closes and following further discussions with West Grey. And that'll be included in an updated cost sharing agreement, which will be brought forward to council for consideration. And that's the update on that particular project.
Okay, thank you, Deputy CEO. I'll just put the question out then if there are any questions or comments. We'll begin with the Deputy Warden Milne.
Thank you, Madam Warden. Randy, you indicated that the consultant thought the county share was a little elevated for this project. And I'm just wondering, was that based, or indeed the decision or the division of costs, was it based on just the needs for the new Rockwood Terrace, or was it based on partly on the mitigation or removal of restrictions of other lands for development in the future in Durham? If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yeah. Thank you.
Through you, Warden. Thank you for that question, Deputy Warden. With respect to it's more on the first part in terms of ensuring that the cost share associated with the new Rockwood Terrace is appropriately divided amongst those costs. As noted, as part of the early works cost sharing agreement, there was an agreement to split the costs as it relates to the downstream upgrades. And so just a further breakdown of some of those costs as noted, because it has to go deeper, because there has to be a good portion of the existing road, even just isolating that particular project outside of the other upgrades that are being proposed for that road, just isolating that particular project, it would have been a good portion of the overall cost. Based on the review, Rockwood team feels that it's a bit less than the 1.7 million that's been estimated. We're hoping, obviously, to get some good bid prices. What we're seeing in some of the contracts, which are shown in the committee of the whole meeting with some of the reports, we're seeing some good tender prices coming in on construction projects, and we hope that's the case for this particular project as well. Until we know those tender results, we'll obviously have some further discussions with West Grey about those cost breakdowns, but we feel that for sure we'll be under that $1.7 million envelope. And as noted, we have sufficient funds in the overall project budget to cover that if need be.
Okay, and so I think there's a follow-up from Deputy Warden, and then I'll look for any other hands.
Thank you, Madam Warden. And I'm not disputing the need for the project or indeed the division currently as it relates to the new Rockwood, but what I'm concerned about is the future. Does this allow other lands within the town of Durham that currently are restricted from development because of the constrictions of that pipe as it currently sits? Will the upgrade unlock the potential for future development? And if so, will the county benefit from that in either in the future or now in the division of the cost? Please.
Through you, Warden, most of the sizing of the pipe, from my understanding anyways, is to deal with what's existing there today, plus what we need for the new Rockwood. There may be a small portion that could be permitted to support future growth, but in terms of the majority, it's mostly, from my understanding, existing as well as what we require for the new Rockwood. If there were some future developments that required a stormwater connection and can't handle all their stormwater on site, there may be additional capacity, but that would have to be looked at on that case-by-case basis going forward. As part of the early works project, as part of what they're proposing to size, my understanding from the water and sewer main for future development, that was part of their West Grey's cost share for those upsizing of the pipes. I don't know if council will recall that. So we required some of those pipes to be extended, obviously, for the new Rockwood. But in order to accommodate for any future development on the south portion, as well as lands that the county also owns on the east side of Rock Street, those were upsized, and West Grey covered those costs as part of that early works cost share.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments for discussion? Not seeing any hands in the chamber or on the screen. Okay, thank you very much, Deputy CEO and Director Cornell. That allows me to call the question. All those in favor? And that motion is carried. Item 6E is it's recommended that the Board of Health minutes dated January 24th, 2025 be received for information. I'll look for a mover and a seconder to get it on the floor, and I understand that Dr. Era is joining us virtually to speak to it. So may I ask for a mover and a seconder? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Eccles and seconded by Councillor Pringle. It's now on the floor for discussion. Good morning, Dr. Era. I see you there on our screen. Welcome, and the floor is yours to discuss the minutes.
Madam Warden, Council, good morning. Thank you for having me. The minutes from January are straightforward. The first session of board orientation was completed And if I may provide council with an update about Board of Health, not related to January, rather related to measles situation Southwest, Madam Warden. So as you may heard from the news, the situation of measles reflects high level of transmission in the Southwest, and in Grey Bruce, we recently, since I spoke to council last, we had 2 investigations. Both of cases have been recovered, and thanks to the collaboration with the families and healthcare providers, the first case was contained to 5 contacts and the case, and there were no exposures in schools. Our team ensured that all potential exposures have been ruled out. The second one had been in a case that attended the ER in one of the hospitals in Grey Bruce, and that generated 47 contacts. And our team has been working with the partners to identify the individuals affected, and we continue to work with them. It's worth noting that measles, each case has the potential, or on average, generates 16 cases if there are no public health interventions. And you can appreciate 16 cases can generate 250 cases within 1 week, usually, and 4,000 in a week after. It's exponential if there are no measures in place. Having said that, in Grey Bruce, we do have the tools and the connection with the partners and optimal situation, I believe, to maintain control over this transmission. And final point, measles is a winter and early spring virus, so it's expected to see this high transmission continues in Southwest, and our objective in Grey Bruce and in the Southwest to ensure that during the summer there is complete suppression of this transmission before the next school year starts in September. And I feel confident we are able to do that in Grey Bruce. Open to questions as always, Madam Warden.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Era. So I'll ask if there are any questions regarding the minutes that we have on the floor for discussion or for the update regarding measles. Okay, I'm not seeing any hands, Dr. Era, so thank you very much for that additional information that you provided this morning. In that case, then, with no hands going up, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? And that motion is carried. Thank you again, Dr. Era.
Thank you.
That allows us to move on in the agenda. We do not have any closed meeting matters here on our council agenda, nor reports. That allows us to move to the bylaws. It's recommended that bylaw 522825 and 523025 be introduced and taken as read a first, second, and third time, finally passed, signed by the warden and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and engrossed in the bylaw book. Number 1, 522825, a bylaw to establish the tax policy and levy taxes for upper tier purposes for the year 2025. Number 2, 522925, a bylaw to adopt amendment number 23 to the Grey County of Grey official plan regarding affecting various lands throughout Grey County. And item 3, 523025, a bylaw to confirm all the actions and proceedings of the council. May I ask for a mover and a seconder? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Dickert. It's on the floor for any discussion. Seeing no hands, all those in favor? And that is carried. News and celebrations. I would like to begin with one item, and then we have another one coming from staff before we open it to the floor for council members to share additional items of news and celebrations. So the topic that I'd like to be able to share and put a spotlight on is the wonderful participation that was experienced by each and every one of our 9 municipalities at our Warden's Economic Development Leadership Luncheon. It's a bit of a name tag there. And Director Myers will speak to any additional details in a moment. We do have a few photos there to share. But what I want to say is a warm thank you to all of those who came out in full force to participate, and we appreciate. It's a very, it was a full day, so we understand that not everyone can attend. It does require a commitment, but what I can say is that it was wonderful to see how each of the 9 municipalities made sure that there were good voices at the table. What we tried to do in the agenda is we tried to make sure that it was interactive, that it was not just one-way directional. We wanted to make sure that there's lots of opportunity to talk both formally and informally. And I was very pleased to see that there were so many positive comments and feedback that came back from it. We thought, in our busy lives here in the municipalities, it gets hard to carve out some time even within your own municipality to sit down and do some dreaming and some visioning. So that's what we did in the morning session, allowing those who were coming from one municipality, everybody to get together at the 9 different tables of the 9 municipalities, sit together as colleagues and do an exercise in expanding what that vision is and what might be that key feature within each of our municipalities that we'd like to be able to develop. And then we enjoyed hearing everybody's report, sharing back what each municipality has identified that makes them unique and what they might like to explore. And that was very interesting too, because we allowed for time for people to ask questions. And then in the afternoon, we engaged in a larger group discussion, which I thought was an important component too, to look at a big picture about, again, Director Myers can provide a little bit more detail, but to talk about something that we all think about within the context of economic development, infrastructure, and how it can be supporting our economic development. So it was good to have that large group discussion because that touches each and every one of our municipalities. And I think one of the pieces that I very much enjoyed was all of the interaction. I did challenge everyone at lunchtime to sit down with somebody new that they hadn't met, or to sit down at a table and see how many different municipalities could be represented at that table. And it was wonderful, the interactions and people having a chance to connect to those that they already knew, and also to be able to make new connections. And that was evidenced at the end when I asked at the end if people could leave a note on one thing that they had learned about a different municipality within the county. And there were some lovely discoveries that were shared there too. So with that, Director Myers, do you want to add any additional details?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Warden, and good morning, County Council. I think from these pictures, you can actually feel the energy in the room. I am so appreciative of everybody who came out. We did have all 9 member municipalities represented. And the conversation, as much as some of it is pie in the sky and big picture thinking, it really lets us think outside the box and ask ourselves, who do we want to be? Where do we want to go? And there were so many good nuggets of potential in those conversations, and that's where we can now focus. I think that is something that is really exciting to us. It reinforces the direction that we're trying to go with our Economic Development, Tourism, Culture Master Plan, which fits under the Building Communities for the Future of our corporate strategic plan, so that we can do this work together and really work towards building that cohesion and that single voice, that we can be stronger when we're talking with the province, with the federal government, and with the world. So I really do want to say thank you to all of you for all of the engagement. It was a loud room, which was excellent. And I think the one thing that was really interesting when we were debriefing afterwards was that when we looked at all of the visions and everything that our municipalities were talking about, they fell within agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, who are our foundational and base economies. And then in looking at where do we think we're going, it fit with our key sectors in clean energy and healthcare and creative industries. So you're already doing the work that we're all collectively working towards together, and being able to capture that and talk about it was really important. And then again, understanding that the afternoon session about water and wastewater, that did come out of the November session when we were talking about where do we want to go, what are those challenges, and realizing that that is going to be our biggest barrier to sustainable growth as a region. So what are the alternatives, and what are the conversations and questions we can ask ourselves about an innovative approach of how we move forward? So I really do want to say thank you to everyone. The feedback that we got ranked the event at 8.7 out of 10. So I think we're onto something here, and we really appreciate the comment. I'm actually putting together your follow-up email as we speak, so that will be in your inboxes, and you'll have the EPCOR presentation. You'll have a better way for us to stay connected as we go forward, because there was some really great feedback. But just a sincere thank you. We are still riding on a high from that event, and so much good work to come. So thank you.
Excellent. And it was a great opportunity to make use of our own facility sitting on campus as well as one of those community hub gathering spots where we can have a large enough room to be able to have those conversations. And what we do look forward to is doing this on a 6-month schedule. So enough time in between to actually get some work done, get, react to some of what we learn and be able to check in with each other, but not so long that it feels difficult to pick up those conversations. All right, so the second item that we have too is about the Youth Climate Action Fund in partnership with the town of Blue Mountains and Grey County, and some exciting news that we have to share. We have staff coming forward. Good morning, Ms. Swanston.
Good morning, Warden and County Council. So thank you for the opportunity. As you probably know, it is Earth Month. I believe you received a council e-update last week to that effect. And one of the things we're happy to share is that during Earth Month, we are able to extend the deadline on the Youth Climate Action Fund. So we did receive a suite of really exciting initial submissions, which are currently being reviewed. And we anticipate being able to announce the first round of recipients around Earth Day, which is April 22nd. But as you've heard before, we were, Town of Blue Mountains in partnership with Grey County was successful in receiving $100,000 to give out to youth. And we really want to make sure that that money gets into the hands of our local youth to realize the kind of projects they're excited about. So we've extended the deadline and we'll be accepting applications on a rolling basis through till April 30th. So again, I just really encourage you, if there are youth in your community, or if you have the opportunity to outreach to youth in your community, to let them know that if they have an idea for something that's going to help our local environment, we are here to help them make it a reality. There is staff support for putting together applications. You can go to the Youth Climate Action Fund page. They can send an email and someone will happily and enthusiastically talk with them about what they'd like to achieve and how we might be able to help them do it. And each project is eligible for up to 7,000 Canadian dollars, which is not insignificant, especially for a youth project. And we had such great participation last year. So if you have any questions about that fund in particular, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or other staff. And we hope that we'll get some additional submissions throughout the month. In addition to the Youth Climate Action Fund, I was thinking about this. I hear it's almost hockey playoff season, and Earth Month is kind of the environmental playoffs. Everything's a little bit higher profile. Everything's a little bit higher stakes. So across the month of April, around the entire county, there are so many great events happening. There's litter pickups, there's tree plantings, there's repair cafes. There's all kinds of things that residents are trying to do to make our community a more sustainable, environmentally innovative place. If you know of an event in your community that you'd like Grey County to help promote, we do have a listing on grey.ca/climate action. We'd be happy to add any of the events happening in your municipalities. In fact, we'd be pleased to. Similarly, if you're attending any Earth Day events and you'd like any support in messaging around the Going Green and Grey Climate Action Plan, I'm volunteering Rob, but I do have his blessing. So our comms team is happy to help with any messaging around the Going Green and Grey plan. And the last thing I wanted to raise to your attention is that we are hosting our own Earth Day event on April 22nd, right here at the building. From 3 to 5 p.m., we'll be continuing the Transform the Lawn program. So you've seen over the last few years what used to be a monoculture of grass that greeted you when you arrived. We've started to naturalize with native plants and native trees. So we'll be continuing that program on April 22nd between 3 and 5 p.m. We invite you, and also if you'd like to invite your residents, it's open to the public and as well as staff will be participating. So happy Earth Month. I hope that throughout the month that you're able to participate in some event or bring attention to the Youth Climate Action Fund. And as always, happy to support or answer any questions.
Thank you very much for all of those updates and the outreach that we can help spread the news in your own communities of your own events. And we will note too that the youth that are eligible for that fund are up to age 24. It's 15 to 24. So that includes young adults in your lives that you may know about, anybody in your community. It only takes a young adult and 2 friends or sister and brother to put together an application, and supporting organizations are out there ready to help and be partnered. So you don't have to have all the answers. If you're thinking this might work, tell us what you're thinking about and we can help connect you to the right information. So with that, may I put it out to the floor for any additional updates from communities? We'll begin with Councillor Carlton.
Thank you, Warden Matrosov. This Saturday is the Kemble Maple Tour, obviously at Kemble, and there will be pancakes and maple syrup available at Kemble Sarawak United Church from 8:30 to 2. And then there's an arts and crafts sale upstairs at the church from 9 till 4, and a family fun fair at the Kemble Arena from 10 till 3. So everybody can come out and have a good day.
'Tis the season, and we'll go to Councillor Keaveney next.
Thank you and good morning, Warden Matrosovs and members of County Council. And I wanted to share much pride from Meaford. We have had 3 recipients this year of the King's Coronation Medal. Most recently, Sonia Mount was honored for her efforts in fundraising for the YMCA here in Owen Sound. And we also had Mary Solomon for her efforts with accessibility, and Brian Doherty, who is a veteran. So we're very proud of our 3 recipients this year. And also we have happening on Saturday from 10 until 3 at Bognor Community Center, an Artisans Flair. And that's a craft show on 2 levels of Bognor Hall. And they also recently have a new bar, so you can sip mimosas while you shop at the craft show. So come on out to Bognor on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go to Councillor Deputy Warden Milne.
Thank you, Madam Warden. And this is Maple Fest weekend in Holstein coming up, Saturday and Sunday. There's wagon rides to the back. The weather looks favorable so far, at least. Lots of demonstrations on different things. All day pancake breakfast. I don't know much else I can tell you other than your presence is expected. Although I'm sure from Chatsworth, there maybe the representation wouldn't be quite as strong as the rest of us, but nonetheless, we'd be happy to see everybody on Saturday and Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go to alternate Councillor Allwood.
Thank you, Madam Warden. Couple of announcements on the South Grey Chamber of Commerce events. We've got our annual general meeting coming up on April the 16th in the Kinplex in Flushton, 7 to 9 p.m. We have a keynote speaker, Emily Bailey, who's going to be talking about AI for businesses, and that's free for members. And also the Home and Garden Show, April the 26th and 27th at the Flushton Arena in Kinplex coming up, a spring event, and hopefully we've seen the last of winter. But I invite everybody to attend if possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to take a moment to go to Councillor Nielsen online.
Thank you very much, Warden. I just wanted to bring everybody's attention this Saturday. There's a Yuck Yuck comedy night going on at the Markdale Arena. It's being put on by the Markdale Agricultural Society as a fundraiser for their fall fair efforts. Their show starts at 8 p.m., I believe, and there are 3 different comedians, and then there is a DJ and dance after the comedy event.
Thank you, and I'll look around the room. We'll go to Councillor McKay.
Yes, last weekend was good roads, and it was nice to see so many faces there that I recognized. And also I was re-elected as director on Good Roads for another 2 years. So if you have any concerns or suggestions, I can go forward to Good Roads. Let me know and I'll bring them forward. Our next meeting is in June, but gives you plenty of time to get anything in. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and congratulations to Councillor McKay and other. Okay, I'm not seeing any further hands. So thank you very much for all of that. And next we'll do a motion to adjourn. May I ask for a mover and a seconder? We'll do Councillor McKay and Councillor Allwood as seconding. All those in favor? And that motion is carried. We'll give a moment for technology to switch over.